Getting ready for a big vacation? I know, it's so exciting. But hey, before you lock that door and head out, I'm going to share one super simple step that could literally save you thousands of dollars and a whole lot of heartbreak. Seriously, this might be the most important thing you do before you travel.
So let me ask you, what do you think is the number one threat to your home while you're away? A break-in? Maybe a power surge? Well, you might be surprised to learn that the most common and most costly disaster is actually silent and very, very wet.
That's right. The biggest threat is water. A tiny drip you never knew about, a pipe that decides to burst, a washing machine hose that fails. These are the kinds of silent problems that can turn your welcome home into a waterlogged nightmare while you're off enjoying yourself. I mean, just imagine it for a second. You come home all relaxed and refreshed, you open your front door, and you're greeted by the sound of rushing water and the sight of a disaster. It is the ultimate vacation nightmare. But the good news is, it's often totally preventable. And you know what the best part is? The solution is just incredibly simple. We are talking about one single action that can protect you from a burst pipe, a faulty dishwasher, you name it. This isn't just some good idea. It's a really powerful preventative measure.
Okay, but do you really need to do this every single time you leave the house? What about just for a weekend trip or for a whole month away? Let's break it down with a quick little decision guide. So here's the basic rule of thumb. For a quick weekend getaway, it's generally optional. You can kind of base that decision on things like how old your plumbing is or if the weather's crazy. But for any trip that's a few days or longer, yeah, it is highly recommended. Think of it as essential travel insurance for your actual house.
But look, for some of us, this isn't optional at all. It's absolutely essential. If your home has older pipes or, a history of leaks, you definitely need to do this. Traveling during a major cold snap where pipes could freeze? Oh yeah, you're gonna want to do it. And if you don't have a neighbor or friend who can check on your place, well, you're the first and only line of defense.
All right, so you've decided to do it. Awesome. Now what? I know it might sound kind of technical, but I promise you it's so simple. Let's just walk through the 3 easy steps to finding and closing your main water valve.
First things first, you gotta find the valve. It's almost always located right where the main water line enters your house. So check your basement, the garage, or maybe a utility room first. A super common spot is right next to the water heater. Here's a pro tip. Find this valve before you're packing so you know exactly where to go. Okay, you ready? Here's the 3-step process. 1, make sure appliances that use water, like your washing machine or dishwasher, are turned off. 2, find the handle on that main valve and turn it slowly. If it's one of those lever handles, a simple quarter turn is usually all it takes, so the handle is sitting perpendicular to the pipe. And 3, this last step is crucial. Walk over to the nearest sink and open a faucet. You'll see a little bit of water trickle out, and then it'll stop. That's how you know you've done it right, and it also gets rid of any leftover pressure in the pipes. See? Easy. And you're back from your trip. Now it's time to get everything flowing again. And just like shutting it off, there is a right way to turn the water back on so you don't get any surprises. Turning the water back on is just as important. First, open that main valve slowly. You don't want to blast the pipes with a sudden surge of pressure. You'll probably hear some gurgling sounds as they refill. That's totally normal. Next, go to the faucet that's closest to the valve and turn on the cold water. Let that run for a minute to push out any air. Then, you can just work your way through the rest of the house, turning on the other faucets one by one. Now, as you're turning the water back on, pay attention. If you hear any weird noises that don't stop, or worse, if you see any drips or leaks anywhere, don't mess around. Shut the valve again right away and call a licensed plumber. Better safe than sorry always. Okay, so turning off that main valve is your biggest and best defense, for sure. But for that extra layer of peace of mind, there are a few other quick checks you can do. Let's look at how to take your home protection to the next level. Before you leave, just take 2 minutes for a quick walkthrough. Seriously, peek under all your sinks, look for any tiny drips. Listen for a toilet that might be constantly running. And give a quick look at the hoses connected to your washing machine and dishwasher. Those are really common failure points. It's a simple little checklist for total confidence. And hey, if you want to get really proactive, here are some fantastic pro tips. Maybe keep a little checklist right there next to the valve itself so you always remember the steps. If your plumbing is getting on in years, have a chat with a plumber about reducing your risk. And for the ultimate protection, you can even install smart leak detectors that will automatically shut the water off for you the second they sense a problem. How cool is that?
So as you're planning your next amazing getaway, just ask yourself that question. Is my home's plumbing as protected as it could be? Taking these few extra minutes isn't a chore. It's a real investment in a stress-free vacation and a happy, dry return. Now you know exactly how to make sure your home is ready for your trip.